Hey, this is Justin with Effective Remote Work. Flexible schedules are benefits that lots of remote companies are offering their employees these days. The autonomy and flexibility that comes with being able to structure your day the way that you want to, the way that works best for you, is a huge benefit and a huge boon. I know for me, it's benefited my emotional, physical, and mental health quite a lot since working with a flexible schedule for the last couple of years. But with that comes some responsibility. And so today, I wanted to talk about some ways that you can be successful in managing your flexible work schedule while working remotely. When I first heard about flexible schedules, one of the things that was floating around in my mind was this concept of, wow, I could just work whenever I want to. I could work in the evenings, I could spend time during the day with my family, and I can just move work whenever I want to. And that's very true. But, some of these other ideas try to creep into like, oh, maybe I could play a little Xbox. Maybe I could watch some Netflix or YouTube videos, or I could make music. I could work on this side project over here. And I don't have this accountability to say, well, I have to be working on my main job stuff from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is true. You can do those things. But generally, most people, myself included, benefit from having some kind of structure around what their day should look like. For me, what that looks like is I generally tell myself that I'm working from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 p.m. at night. For you, that might look a little different. You might say, well, I want to work from 10 to 4, and then I'll pick up a couple hours from 8 to 10 because that's just best for me. Whatever that looks like, it's good to have that foundation to rest back on. But you don't have to hold yourself to it hard. If you want to work from 6 to 8 in the morning because you got up early someday and you have some time, chop off a couple hours somewhere else during the day. That's totally fine. That's the beauty of flexibility, because if you were to do that when you were working for a job that says you have to be there from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 p.m. at night, you would just tack on 2 more hours to your day because you wouldn't necessarily be able to leave early because that expectation is set there. The expectation when you're working remotely with flexible hours is you're getting the work done. Every one of us has a quote unquote biological prime time where we're firing on all cylinders, where we can get the best work done and have the most creative and problem solving type output throughout the day. And then there's time periods in the day where we're absolutely just worthless, where we're tired, we're barely functioning, we're not really having a very good time, we're probably the least productive. For me, my prime time is between 9 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock in the morning. And my tank time, where I am just not very productive at all, usually starts around 3 and lasts about till 4 or 4:30, sometimes through the end of the workday at around 5 o'clock. Being aware of those times means I'm not going to be trying to schedule really important tasks later in the afternoon because I know that I'm probably not going to get to them. Conversely, instead, I am trying to schedule those important tasks that I need to do first thing in the morning while I'm still fresh, while I'm in that prime time of getting work done. You can leverage the concepts of Cal Newport's deep work combined with this time as well to be even more effective. Deep work is basically the idea that we need uninterrupted time to get our best work done, especially in the context of knowledge work, which most remote work companies are knowledge work-based companies. So how do you create a space for deep work? Well, you've got these biological prime times. So what you do is just block them off on your calendar. Say 90 minutes to 2 hours over those time periods where it's completely segregated and set apart to work on important tasks. Then during that time period, what you're doing is you're turning off your phone, you're turning off email, you're turning off chat, you're getting out of your web browser, you're keeping just the essential stuff that you need to get the task done that you're saying is most important to get done during that time in front of you and nothing else. Distractions are incredibly detrimental to people. If you haven't heard this statistic, but it basically is that if you get distracted from a task that you're working on, it can take you 20 to 30 minutes to get refocused to it. Now, if you're trying to do work over a period of 6 hours and you're getting distracted, you're going to be a lot less effective at getting that specific task done than you would be if you were going to just take 90 minutes to work on it while not getting interrupted. So combine your biological prime time with deep work sessions to get the most out of your workday. If you're having trouble getting started during these deep work sessions, or even just getting started on a daunting project or task, there are a couple things that you can do to help mitigate that. One is that you can just start working on it. I like to implement something called the 2-minute rule, which is you just start working on it for 2 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's just typing a bunch of junk on the keyboard into a word processor, or if I'm just writing junk code or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's just the fact that my hands are moving, my brain is moving in that direction toward getting the task done at hand. And then once I have momentum, it's a lot easier for my brain to catch on and engage and to start to actually dive into the problem at hand or the project at hand and get deep into it. That's really helpful if you have issues with procrastinating getting started. If you have problems staying focused for longer periods of time, something else that you can do is use something like the Pomodoro Technique, which is basically you set a timer for 20 minutes, work on a project, and then when that timer goes off, set another timer for 5 minutes and take a break. Then you do that for cycles. And maybe after 3 cycles, you take a longer break, maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then you come back and do the same thing. The Pomodoro Technique is really helpful for being able to keep momentum throughout the day. But if you're having issues staying focused for a full 90-minute period of time or 2-hour period of time, it can at least help you chunk up that time to be a little bit more manageable. Something else that's important when you're managing your flexible work schedule is communication. The lifeblood of a remote organization is communication, because you can't just see when somebody is working at their desk. And so if there are hours of the day where you're generally available, or if there's something going on where you might need to help out, say if you're managing a customer support inbox or something like that, it might be helpful to send a message to your team in chat or whatever mode of communication that you're using, just to say like, hey, I'm going to be unavailable for the next 20 minutes or the next hour or the next little while. I'll be back in a little bit, just to communicate and say, hey, I'm not around. If you're not getting a response from me, that's why. But it's just a benefit to the company and to your coworkers and to your boss, just to let them know, like say, hey, I'm not going to be available when I'm usually available here, and here's what's going on, and I'll be back in a little while. That little bit of communication builds trust. And trust is really the foundation of what makes an effective remote work company. We trust employees, we trust people to get their work done, we trust them to manage their day, to manage themselves. We trust them not to be playing Xbox all day when they could be getting work done, but in reality, that's what it comes down to, is trust. The foundation of a remote company is trust. And trust is built through intentionality, through integrity, and through honest communication like this. If you're a remote worker who's new to having a flexible schedule and you want some extra help talking through this, we have a community over at effectiveremotework.com. I recommend that you go sign up, check it out, chat with me and with other remote workers who are over there. We're more than happy to help you figure out what might work best for you and your remote work situation. That's effectiveremotework.com. We'll chat in the next one.